Hello guys, Hector here, and today I just realized I forgot the top 5 worst Arthur PTV era episodes, meaning from the first 3 seasons. You could also call it the cell animation era, but whatever. Let's just get to the list. If you saw my previous videos, then you'll know that season 2 will not have any episodes on this list. And since there were only 5 episodes that got a negative 4 or below, I think you know already which episodes will get into the bottom 5 and which will be last place. But the fun in guessing this is guessing which episodes will get each other's will get 5, 4, 3 and 2. Let's just get started already. Number 5 is Poor Muffy. The reason why this is low on the list is because there's this scene with Oliver Frensky who says that he puts his family first before his work, and that he doesn't want to get a quote-unquote real job because that means he will have to spend overtime and not have enough time at night to spend with his family. That was a really heartwarming moment. But otherwise, I really don't like this episode because Muffy's really unlikable in this episode because she complains about Francine's house a lot. Number 4 is DW's Baby. I could have put this at number 5 instead of number 4, and that list I could have put it at number 58 instead of number 59 because the entire first half was good, but seriously, the second half was offensive. I used to put it at last place in my season 1 ranking because this episode was because of how offensive the second half was. DW sells the baby in a garage sale, which is really offensive because I think that would do damage to the family. Trying to sell your own sister is a really bad thing to do. And then there's this part where DW thinks that she doesn't get enough love from her parents, so she goes to a faraway island. The worst part of this is that Grandma Thora even helps. I guess it's not that bad. Its ending's not that bad because Grandma Thora does convince DW to come back to Elwood City, but that doesn't save the episode. Number 3 is DW's Blanky. This episode, I don't know, it's really boring. Turned out that that DW's Blanky actually needed to be washed. And I know it's a kids show. Kids are supposed to know that dirty things are supposed to go in the laundry. But still, this was a really predictable way to have the plot be solved. A predictable way to end the episode. At number 2, we have Buster's Growing Grudge. Yes, I think this is worse than anything from season 1 because this episode derails 2 characters. And it doesn't have that many good qualities compared to the other episodes. First, let's get to Buster. He's really unlikable in this episode. He wants to make Binky miserable because he thought he stole his joke. And yes, I guess that can work because I also think Binky stole his joke, which kind of derails Binky's character. But this episode just derails Buster's character more than Binky's, much more, which makes me put this at the number 2 spot. Not that it's very mean spirited. I just think that why would they do this to Buster? Buster deserves way better. He's not supposed to be a jerk who wants to make someone's life miserable. Also, he even complains that he didn't win the challenge because he told his comedy act against Binky. He didn't even tell him any jokes. Do you expect yourself to win if this is the case? Yeah, this is Buster's worst episode in my opinion. But it's not as bad as my number 1 spot. If you know from my season 3 video, this is the only episode from the first 3 seasons to get a negative 5 out of 10 from me. And that's number 1, Arthur Rides the Bandwagon. This episode is really terrible. This episode is mean-spirited towards Arthur because everyone has a Woogle and they don't want to accept Arthur because he doesn't have one. There's even the scene where Francine wants to give Arthur her Woogle, and then Arthur rejects, trying to say that he doesn't like it. But in one scene this episode, before that, he wanted to get a Woogle from Buster. Everyone doesn't. After Arthur denies it, everyone just becomes mean towards Arthur. I'm not sure if I could compare this to a SpongeBob episode, but because they're not really similar, but I think this is kinda the paper done wrong. Yeah, this is not the worst episode not only the worst episode season 3, but I think it's the worst episode of the whole series so far, at least. And I think it's bad enough to rival most of the bad episodes of SpongeBob. And that's Arthur's PTV era reviewed. Next video will be on the pie charts.